Ginger, it's Luke here with the King Country. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Luke. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Can't complain.
I think you had too much family coffee today already.
I have a coffee right next to me. That is true. But I think the biggest thing is we've just gotten back from kind of traveling overseas, and I had my first night last night where I slept all the way through the night. Usually jet lag's making me want to wake up at like 2:30 to like 4:30 in the morning. And last night I slept all the way through, so I'm feeling good.
You sound very energized this morning, or
I'm
I guess
good.
this
I'm ready to go. Let's
afternoon.
do this thing.
All right. Well, I'm excited because you guys are bringing your Burn the Ships tour to Michigan. You guys will be here April 4th at the Dow Event Center in Saginaw, which is a cool venue. If you don't remember it, it's really nice. But I'm excited. So for people who don't know about the new album, they haven't been listening to my show or your Spotify. So we got to tell them like what is Burn the Ships, because it's a very unusual album title. What is that about?
Yeah, well, so my wife, I mean, it's kind of a deep and big story, but when my wife was pregnant with our second son, Phoenix, she was going through debilitating nausea, and she went to the doctor and said, hey, is there anything that you can do for the nausea? And they gave her some medicine. They said, take this, you should feel better. And for 6 weeks, she did feel better, and that kind of wore off, and it wasn't working anymore. And she said, hey, is there anything more we can do? And I said, yeah, just take more of it, and we'll up the dosage. And I was in Austin, Texas for a show, and she called me, and she said, hey, I need you to come home. And I was like, oh, okay, well, why? I'd never gotten that call from her up until that point. And she said, well, I've been taking this medicine, and I just can't stop taking it anymore. So I need you to come home. And so I came home and came in the back door, and I said, you're okay? And she said, I'm okay right now. But as the night kind of progressed, I can see her hands begin to tremble, and she started saying things like, hey, I mean, I know the doctors don't want me to take this medicine anymore, but what if I just take one more pill to get me through the night? And, at that point I realized we had a problem. So the next day we went to a mental health facility, and she was there for, they recommended outpatient therapy for about 2 weeks. And so we did that for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we were home one night, and she had that bottle of pills in her hand. She said, Luke, I need to go and flush these pills because they represent so much shame and guilt in my life. And I was reminded of a story about an explorer who went to a foreign land, and when he arrived in the foreign land, he said to his men, we want to go explore the horizon. We're going to see the mountains. We're going to see what this land has for us. And he realized that his men didn't want to follow him. They just wanted to go back to the dirty confines of the ships that they arrived in. Not because it was good, but it's just because it was familiar, it was safe,
yeah.
It was comfortable for him. And so he waits a few more days, calls them all to the shoreline, and he wants all the men were accounted for on the shoreline. He gave his generals the command to burn the ships because he says, we're not going back. We're not going to live in the past. We're going to live in our future. And I think, for my wife, when she took those pills and she flushed them, that was her moment of burning the ships.
I actually have never asked you guys that question. I mean, I saw the video, and I had my own analogies of what ships I needed to burn. For me, I thought it was very metaphoric of things in our life that we need to not just sort of walk away from or tone down. We just need to burn them down. And yeah, so I mean, that was the meaning I took away, which is close to what you're talking about. And I think not enough people, and especially Christian artists, don't talk about things like, how easy it is to be, addicted to something like that, or to have, mental health issues and things like that. I mean, it's suicide's never been more prevalent, and drug addiction's never been more prevalent, but we're talking about it less. Like, it's almost like we talked about it early on because that was one of the ways you could get people to jump ship, no pun intended, from the secular world to the Christian world, is because, you had this life of drugs. Now we can take that all away. But now that there's drug use in the church, and there's abuse and all these things going on, there's a lot of ships that need to be burning inside the churches every week. We need to be constantly I think people aren't taking inventory on what's down below. I think they think as long as the ship looks good and it's still floating, that, there's no reason to burn the ship. But, getting too deep in your metaphor, but quite literally, it's what's under deck, that is really the problem. So I command her for, coming out with that and to let you use her story, because I know that, although it is not something as a believer she needs to feel the shame and all of that, it's our human nature to feel all that. um
Absolutely.
I'm so glad you're doing this tour. By the way, speaking of your wife, the song Pioneers that you did with your wife and with Joel's wife, that is probably one of my favorites on the whole album. I love that song. And the video is so beautiful too.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we definitely enjoyed being able to work on that with our wives. That was very, very special for us.
And I'm just so glad to see some of these songs like Joy and God Only Knows that we've been playing. I want to know why Manuel didn't teach you better dance moves though in Joy. I saw him behind the camera. He had you guys acting pretty mellow.
We can only hope.
Yeah, he was acting kind of mellow behind the camera. I expected him to break out dancing, but
That's right. That's right. He is a good dancer.
yes, he is. I think you need to do some full on, like lyrics with him where he brings you over to his side just a little. I want you to stay. I like you staying in your lane, but I think I would love to see you guys explore some other options like that. And that's one of the questions that we got from one of your fans. I don't know what her first name is, but her last name is Schultze. She said, do you have any other inclination to explore a different music style, and what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Somebody asked me that the other day, like, hey, what type of music would you make if you weren't making King Country music? And I was like,
I just mean in addition.
I think I'd probably be making King Country music.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more urban hip hop. But ironically enough, I know that's not, because urban hip hop, though I wouldn't be doing the rapping, a lot of the choruses and things are just really good hooks and just really good catchy melodies and good choruses. And I like that stuff, so I probably wouldn't be doing the rapping type stuff, but maybe potentially more urban sounding sounds or, things like that, maybe. But we, even on this past album, we did some of that on some of the recordings. So, hard to say.
Well, I think, I went to Winter Jam this last weekend, and I honestly would love to see you guys and Ren Collective up on the stage together. When I was watching them, that's what I thought. Man, get the For King and Country guys up here with their drums and all of your weird instruments. And sincerely, that would be a party. I would love to hear you with that. I don't even know what that style's called, that Need to Breed Ren Collective. It's like rockabilly or something. But I think you guys could really get to jamming with those guys too.
Oh, you're probably right.
Well, and you guys are not only have the Burn the Ships album out, but so is there anything else cool? Are you guys working on some new movies? Because now you got us addicted, and now that we can see you do movies and you do these like movie type music videos, we need you guys to do a movie together. Like, when's that happening?
Yeah, well, we're in the early stages of working on another film, and when we have more to announce on that, we will do it. But yeah, it's a work in progress, and we'll see how we go, and we'll announce something when we have something to announce.
So I wasn't totally off. You guys really are still doing stuff in the film industry.
That's the hope. That's the thought.
Well, it Priceless seriously is still one of the biggest films that has stood out to me in Faith Films. It was such a touching thing, and the song had a heart tug anyway, but the movie just was so beautifully done, and I thought, man, it'd be a shame if you guys didn't at least continue to dabble in it. I think music is definitely your thing, but I think to incorporate every once in a while throwing some, a film like that, it was so powerful, and I think it's got to be led like Priceless was. You guys were led to do it on that subject matter, and it worked because of that. So I just say be led, but if you need another vote, I vote continue doing films.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you very much.
Well, I know you have tons of interviews to go to. I cannot wait to see you guys here April 4th in Saginaw, Michigan, and continue doing awesome music like this so we can keep spinning it because it's such a joy in our life. No pun intended yet again, but it's such a joy to have you on our station. It's great to have songs like yours to, lift people's spirits and encourage people.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely. You have a great day,
All
Liv.
right.